Welcome back to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. To be part of our super community and find out more about Eliances, visit www.Eliances.com.
All right, so we're back, and again, it's just been an amazing morning and stuff. And I got to tell you all is we're still getting feedback on the interview that I did with Mr. Olympia, Frank Zane, who's also Mr. Universe for a number of them, and also the president of Telemundo. So make sure you go to Eliances.com. That's Eliances.com, because as you know, it's the only place where entrepreneurs align. And I'm so excited about our next guest because he's leading the way, which is going to be so popular. I'm already a big fan, and it hasn't even launched right now. It's been in the past, but so many things going on with it because it's Steve Smith. He is the CEO and chairman. Are you ready for this? Of XFC MMA. He can be reached at XFCMMA.net. Welcome to the show, Steve. Let's go right into it because not everybody may have heard of XFC. Talk to us about what it is.
So thanks for having me. The XFC has been around actually since 2006. It's Xtreme Fighting Championships. It's frequently produced out of Brazil for about 42 of their international fights. So it's a championship MMA event that pulls talent from all over the world, and they ran from 2006 to 2017, December 2017. They've been dormant for about almost 2 years now, and so my mission has been to bring them back to the limelight. And so I've been working with them for about a year to produce the XFC 43s, and we're right up the cusp of that right now.
Yeah, and that's huge and stuff. So where do you see the fights taking place?
So that's been the most exciting part of this. When we decided to bring XFC back, the world was a different place, and you could do them anywhere we wanted, really. But we're based in Florida. Florida is the only state initially that's very close with the Trump administration and has approval for combat sports. So our friendly competitors, UFC and World Wrestling Entertainment, my former alma mater, have been producing all their events in Florida. I currently reside in Florida, so we'll be most likely producing it in either Atlanta for the November event or possibly in Jacksonville, which is where most of the MMA fighting has been happening. It all depends on regulation and obviously the virus details.
Sure. So Steve, share with us and educate our audience and stuff in regards to kind of maybe the difference XFC is versus some of these other ones that you had mentioned.
So historically, what's made XFC, it's Xtreme Fighting Championships. It's been kind of a leader in the MMA space. The one thing it's very well known for worldwide is the very first female MMA fight, televised, was produced by them, and their roster prior to kind of taking a pause had about 181 fighters on it. Almost half of them were female fighters, and basically every MMA fighter that the fan of MMA fighting has heard of came from XFC first. So now they're fighting in other people's events. So we're going to bring some of them back. But the other thing that's really kind of the historics for XFC is they tend to bring up through a number of kind of tiered in tournaments fighters who are undiscovered. We have a facility in Brazil. They've had one there for almost 20 years that which is where MMA started, and the most famous fighters are from there. So there's a kind of it's the friendly fighter tournament. As friendly as a tournament can be. That this is pretty violent, but still friendly to the fighters regardless.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't want to piss any of them off.
No, I'm trying my best not to.
All right. So again, we're talking with Steve Smith. He is the CEO and chairman of XFC MMA, and he can be reached at XFCMMA.net. In fact, Steve, you're a publicly held company under the ticker symbol DKMR. Talk to us about being a public company and how that's different from other companies, because you've been a very successful entrepreneur, number of companies, and yet now you're taking the charge of this opportunity.
Yeah, so the thing of it was I was really semi-retired or almost completely retired, and this kind of opportunity, the management team actually came to me, the existing management team of XFC, and wanted to see if I could help them really like bring the brand back into the mainstream and do it in a way that really was super fighter friendly, because the industry has become super commercialized, and a lot of the fighters, there's a lot of kind of like backlash from the fighters and actually from the fans from UFC.
So explain to us again, just in regards to, so they have the opportunity to become part owner as investor into the company and own a piece of the XFC, right?
Yeah, I mean, publicly traded company. Anybody, it's the ticker symbol is DKMR. At the moment, the company's was my investment company, Duke Mountain Resources. That's why the name ticker symbol is DKMR. That actually will change. It might be changed already. It's changing this week anyway into Xtreme Fighting Championship. So just kind of universally that at some point that ticker symbol will be changing as well, but it hasn't been announced as to when. But the bottom line is the fans and the fighters have an opportunity to be a shareholder in the company and have an opinion, and it's not a private entity that is a small group of people that's trying to capitalize really on where fighting sports has a tendency to kind of run through their talent, right? So we're looking to be more of a long-term play where the fighters that have fan bases can kind of go through various phases and be be advocates of the company indefinitely, really.
Why do you think there's such a fascination of so many fans? I mean, we're so enthralled with it. I watch fighting all the time and just, enthralled with it on TV. What do you think it's so much? I mean, whether it be, boxing or wrestling, XFC and all these other things out there. I mean, it's like a huge fan base.
I think it's very interesting. The combat sports in general has a very unique positioning. So much of like kind of contrived and sort of lacks authenticity. But ultimately, two guys fighting in an octagon, a hexagon, or a ring of any sort. We all have our own ring setup, so they're all trademarked. But the two guys fighting with some rules, but particularly when it comes down to like the MMA structure, there's actually we have plans to launch a channel, a premium channel that's going to have our XFC content, and then also some other fighting content. There's bare knuckle fighting, some of the associated sports that are not really televisable necessarily, but still there's an interest, right? And it's a global interest. I mean, it's really like. And it's not just men. I mean, it's predominantly men, but there's a pretty big following from the female kind of demographics and all that. So I think that there's something sort of raw, and the fights are very short because it's a little too raw and a little too fast, and it's over, and people are like, oh, well, I want to watch something more than 30 seconds. But ultimately, you're getting what two guys really have brought to bear, and rarely do you see that really anywhere else in the world these days.
No, it's amazing. Well, I got to tell you, Steve, what you're taking on. I'm glad you came out of retirement to take on and to lead this and to be the CEO and chairman again of XFC MMA. So make sure you go to XFCMMA.net, again, in a publicly held company under DKMR. That may change, but you'll be able to follow it through DKMR. You know what, Steve? That makes a hero, bringing entertainment to others. That's huge. That's a success. This has been David Kogan with the Eliances Hero Show.
Flash 60 seconds of secrets of heroes with David Kogan from Eliances, where entrepreneurs align. Our heroes will provide one-word short answers to the secret questions. Can you beat the Flash?
We have with us Steve Smith. He's the chairman and CEO of XFC MMA. Make sure you go to XFCMMA.net. And of course, they're also a publicly held company. Steve, what is the proudest moment you've had in your life?
Taking over the XFC. What else could there be?
Your good luck charm.
It's probably my two Great Danes. They are the men.
Biggest lesson you've learned?
There's no obstacle you can't overcome.
Would like to be this one superhero.
Maybe I should be Brock Lesnar. He seems like a superhero.
What do you think about most of the time?
Who's going to be fighting who next? That's all I ever think about.
And finally, hope. When people think of me, this is what they will think of.
Someone who brought the best entertainment they've ever seen.
Thank you for playing Flash 60 Seconds of Secrets with David Kogan from Eliances. We're entrepreneurs aligned. Go to ELIANCES to unlock more secrets.